Oh, look at that. That is rag pudding made. Come on, always traditionally served up with chips. There you go, traditional rag pudding, a Lancashire dish from the north of England. Fabulous. Hi everyone, welcome to Backyard Chef. I'm Rick. Today we're doing rag pudding, a northern dish, a British northern dish, predominantly from Lancashire. Around the Oldham area in the old days, and it spread. Rag pudding is very traditional British, and we're making it with suet today. We're sticking to the original type recipe. We're using beef mince, onion, suet, and a little bit of seasoning with the suet pastry. And we'll be putting a bit of gravy together to keep it loose and moist inside. You roll it and steam it. But we're going to do it two ways. I'm going to show you two ways. I'm going to show you the original way, and I'm going to show you a modern way, how we change it up in the modern kitchen. Now, it's a straightforward recipe, and like I say, it's from Lancashire. So let's crack on and do it. In there, a little bit of oil. Okay, you get a flame on, and you chuck in your onions, and you start sauteing your onions. Nice and steady. And seasoning today, we're going to stick to an original type seasoning. We're going to use dry thyme and sage. I know, with the beef mince, but that's what we're doing. Now, I'm going in with my seasoning now. About half a teaspoon of thyme and the same for sage. That can bloom in there now. Nice and straightforward. Oh yes, what a smell. Flame doesn't have to be too high. We're not trying to cook anything out as such, you know. We're trying to take the rawness out of the onions. If you get a tinge on it, so be it. Open to garlic, if you want to put garlic in. Not really used way back when, but you know, you want to put it in, put it in. Okay, we're getting a little bit of browning going on there. In with our mince. Start to cook your mince. Mince wants to be brown. Now the thing is with this dish, it was a budget-friendly family meal dish, you know. You didn't use much meat. It was a meat, like a meat sauce, and it was rolled in the suet pastry, which made a filling dish. So we got a couple of 100 grams of beef mince here. Just over 150, I think, but you know, we'll say 200. Somewhere around about there. Okay, you want to be seasoning this in there with some salt and pepper. Salt and pepper to taste. Now this is open to seasoning of choice. I'm just putting in a teaspoon of Worcester sauce. Back in the day, it would have just been mince and a beef stock gravy made from whatever they had and flour. Stirred it up until it was thickened. It would be cooked for about 30 minutes covered, so it all goes thick and gloopy. That's what we want for inside our roll. Okay, we got a nice little sizzle whizzle going on in there. In with about a tablespoon of flour. Cook out that flour in there That's going to soak all that beef fat up and that oil. Onion juices and a bit of seasoning. Absolutely super. I'm using powdered beef broth as usual. So it's just a stir in, and we're going to cover this and we're going to let it cook for about half an hour until all that thickens. We want a nice thick gloopy, none of this runny stuff, nice and thick gloopy interior. Of course we do. Scrape that fond off the bottom from that flour that we've just cooked. Beautiful. Within that half an hour, keep coming along and keep giving it a little gentle stir. Along, little one of those. Okay, when you've had about 30 minutes, you should have this really gloopy mince. That is exactly what we want. That is going to stick all the way around our roll. That is absolutely old school perfect. Gloopy and sticky. There you go. Right, we just need to put that to one side to cool down and we'll make our suet pastry. Okay, so suet pastry, nice and straightforward. Self-raising flour, a little bit of salt. Now I am going to actually change it up a little bit and put a little bit of dry thyme in there. We can have a herby suet pastry. Suet, now everybody to their own, but I always mix in. You don't have to, you can just stir it all in, but I feel it works better if you do it like a pastry. Okay, that'll do. In there with some water, might need some more. We want to make a dough. Bring it in. Now it's just a little bit of guesswork. We want a little dough form in there. We don't want it too wet. We need just enough to bring it together. Now with suet pastry, you don't want to work it too much. We got a nice little dough going on there. That's fine. Okay, straightforward on this. We want to roll that out into a rectangle. So we want a little bit of flour on there. We want to take our dough and we want a rectangle. So off we go. Now really there's no size as such for this. Bearing in mind you've just got to eyeball your filling and think the filling's got to go in there and you've got to roll it. So it's really, really up to you. Now you can square it all off and everything with a knife if you so wish. You know, you can make it all posh. Doesn't matter. Our filling is not too cold to be honest, but not to worry, we're going to crack on. Right, grab yourself a little spoon and let's have that rolled out. And don't come anywhere around the edges, it has to seal. So just come in there like that. And you don't have to have a thick layer. It doesn't matter if there's holes in it, because it's going to roll over. Don't worry. Just spread it out. And you take a little bit of water and we just want it on there, on that edge that we've left. That is going to stick it all up, we hope. And then you guessed it, we roll it. You either roll it away from you or roll it towards you. Entirely up to you. We need to roll it. So up it goes and start rolling. and seal it. Seal up the ends. There you go. Now you can squash the end together like that, but this is going in a rag because it's a rag pudding. That should hold it together. Right, let's just put that there. Right, what you do, you take some cheesecloth. We call it cheesecloth. This is a cotton cloth. Soak it in water. Wring it out. Okay, so it's not wet. Take some flour on there. This forms a seal over your rag pudding when you steam. It's very important. Just flour out your cloth like that. On your cloth, seam side down. Roll your cloth gently now, not too tight. Just let it take its own way as it goes over. Nice and steady. And then where you come to the ends, you can actually just tuck these on your steamer, but traditionally they're tied. So we're going to tie them with some string and then we'll put them in the steamer. Now the reason for tying is it can sometimes come out at the end. So, you know, the end will explode. So you just give it a little twist up like that. And you grab some string, any old dowel. It doesn't matter what knot you use, come on. In it goes. And just tie the ends. That is our rag pudding. There you go. Right, we've got to set up a steamer and we're going to steam this for 1 hour. Steamer set up. Get your water to boiling, obviously. Take your rag pudding, dump it in there and grab a lid. We're going to let that steam for 1 hour. That's it. When you've had about an hour, we can turn that off and we can have a look. Oh yeah, look at that thing. Right, this is the traditional way. I'm going to take it out of there and show you the traditional way, and then we're going to modernize it. So that comes out of there. So this is our traditional rag pudding, as is. This thing is red hot, as you can see. So be careful if you're doing this at home. Let it settle a little bit, you know. He says. Okay, smells wonderful. Let's get into it. So that is our traditional pudding. Now it's a bit warm, but we're going to put it on this tray. Okay, that is our traditional rag pudding right there. It looks like it's going to split there, but not to worry. Now, if you were going to serve that traditionally, you would just slice it through and serve it. The modern way to make it look more presentable is to actually finish it in the oven 10 to 15 minutes to bake over some colour. Nice and steady, and what you do, you get a nice little crust on there too. Now also a cheats way of this, it's not really a cheats way, but it is a restaurant way. Take some watery gravy over the top. On there, and that's going to give a brown glaze as it bakes. We're going to get that in the oven for about 15 minutes. So there you go. You have to decide Do you like the white colour of just steamed, or do you want a little bit of colour on there? Now, the modern way is to have a little bit of colour on. It looks more presentable, and you know, you really want to eat it. For the old folks that know the old way, they're not bothered. You know, they would eat it steamed or with a little bit of colour on. That's up to you. But now we have a little, it's not hard, look, as you can see, I can press it, but we have a crust. Whereas before we didn't have a crust, it was all super soft. There you go. Just let that have a few minutes or so, and we'll serve some up. Okay, come on. We're going to take an end, obviously, aren't we? But we need to be coming in there. So let's have this end off here first. And then you get to see the rag pudding. Oh, look at that steaming in there. Oh yeah, on here. Just look at that, that is superb. In there, look, you can see all that soft, but we got this bit of a crust that we've put on there. Oh, it's steaming. Oh, look at that. That is rag pudding made. How fabulous does that look? Come on. Come on. Always traditionally served up with chips. Oh, on there. Come on. And I've got that end. Oh, yes, please. Look at that. On there with some peas. Obviously, you can serve it with whatever veg you like. A nice bit of gravy on there. Oh, yeah. There you go. Traditional rag pudding. A Lancashire dish from the north of England. Fabulous. It just doesn't get any better. It really doesn't. For us northern folks, this is quality food, even though it's from Lancashire. Come on, in here. Oh, look at that. It's soft. Oh, yes, with a little bit of crunch on there. Oh, that is absolutely outstanding. That is truly quality food. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Traditional food at its best. That is sensational. All those layers of suet pastry with all that meat mixture in there. Oh, it's unbelievable. I ain't even got to the chips yet. Oh yeah. Outstanding. I better eat some chips, haven't we? Forget the peas. Come on. Well, there you go. There you go. That is traditional rag pudding. I've showed you the traditional way, which you would just steam and serve, and we've put a little bit of a brown crust on there, the modern way, to make it look a little more appealing. You know, our modern tastes have changed and we want a little bit of colour. That is superb. So there you go. If you've had rag pudding before, leave me a comment, tell me about it. If you haven't, are you going to try it? It's definitely worth trying. On there with a little bit of brown for us northerners, a brown sauce. When I say brown, is HP sauce. There you go. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful meal. If you like what we're doing, share with your friends. Tell them how easy it is to make the traditional rag pudding. And if you do like what we're doing, big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, ring that bell. Catch you in the next video. Oh, come on. Oh, yeah.